Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the castle. We're down here today to work a little bit more on the bowling lane, and we're going to be working specifically today on soundproofing this particular lane. As you know, that it does make a little bit of noise. We're in a garage, so there's a lot of sound treatment that we need to do down here. So we're going to work on the lane, and we're also going to work on the area around the lane today. So let me show you what we got to work with that today. So I bought a few things. Most of these on Amazon. Matter of fact, I actually spent only about $100 total for all of this. So I have these hooks. These particular hooks are going to screw into our drywall above the ceiling, and hopefully the weight of what we need to hang off of this is not going to be a problem. I will screw a few into the joists to help support, but for the most part we'll go ahead and we'll do that a little bit later. What are we going to hang them from? Well, we're going to hang them from these metal grommets. I bought a grommet kit. This is off of Amazon as well. I believe I spent about $10 on this. And the reason we need the grommets is because we're going to be using these grommets in something, which I'll show you in just a second. I did buy these really neat acoustic panels. There are 6 of them in here. They're 16 inches by 12 inches. They apparently have an NRC of 0.95. We'll wait and see what happens. We'll do a couple of sound tests before we do any sound treatment and after as well. And now these grommets are going to be hanging from over here, what's in this bag. Now these in here, I debated for a long time buying regular acoustic blankets and also buying moving blankets. I ultimately decided to buy moving blankets because they were a lot less expensive than buying acoustic blankets. Acoustic blankets usually run anywhere from $50 to $75, and these particular ones are going to be there's a lot of things to cut from here, of course. These particular blankets, there's 8 of them in this bag, and they each weigh approximately 5 pounds. So I'm counting on these to add some mass to the walls and add some mass to the lanes to make sure that we can actually get a little bit of sound reduction. Most specifically, the reduction of the sound that leaves the garage, which is my most concerning thing, of course, because we want to make sure that we are respectful to our neighbors.
And so we don't disturb them.
That's what she said. All right, so here's one of the 8 moving blankets that we ended up purchasing. These are approximately, I want to say, 8 feet by 6 feet. And just to show you a quick difference of what these are capable of doing, in case you didn't hear it before, this is me talking now, and this is me talking through the blanket. Hopefully on the microphone you can see that there's already a big reduction in the volume of my voice when it comes through the blanket, and we're hoping that the combination of this and the other 7 blankets that are just like this are going to be useful in reducing the sound that leaves this bowling alley. My plan basically, if you come with me for a little bit, my plan basically is to hang 1, 2, 3 blankets here. I'm going to actually double them up in this corner because this is where the most of the sound can echo. This is also where my neighbor's wall is right here, so I want to make sure that this is well treated. So double layer of blankets here. I would like to follow that up by using the 4th, 5th, and 6th blankets all the way down the back of this lane, all the way up to this wall here. Again, this is where the ball is impacting the lane, so obviously I want this area to be treated well as well. There's other areas that I'm going to be doing as well. So what we're doing here is we're just basically getting set to grommet these moving blankets. Really, we're using them as sound blankets, and my strategy here is just we punch a hole. This grommet kit's pretty easy to use. Sorry for the slightly shaky camera work. Just kind of trying to get my 5-year-old in on the camera work on here. So I'm punching a hole in the blanket right now. I decided to space these grommets every 16 inches. These are 80-inch wide blankets. I'm using the longer side to hang on the wall. I punch the hole, and then below I insert the grommet on one end, and then I put the ring over on the other end. And then underneath the grommet and the ring, I put an anvil. And unfortunately, even though I can't, you won't be able to see it on the camera, this is where I grab the anvil, I put that below the grommet. Then of course, there's my daughter's hand, close up. And then that's where I take the anvil, shortly coming with that. And the little silver thing, you'll see a glimpse of it here on the left there, again right there, and then I grab my rubber hammer and I hammer it 6 to 7 times, and then you get a nice grommet. So that particular grommet was, you had to put 5 per blanket, and I did 6 blankets. You'll see them hung up shortly. And here I'm adding on to the masking unit so I can make a little shelf to hang some more of these moving blankets. There's 2 of the blankets that I did not put grommets into, and my plan here is just to make sort of a canopy a little bit taller than my own height so I don't hit my head on it. It gives me a surface also to hang some of the acoustic tiles, and it worked out pretty well. You'll see a clip in a second about what it looks like when it's finished, but here's some of the build of it. Okay, we're almost done screwing in this this masking unit cover canopy thing. I have a couple of spacers on a couple of spots. I kind of didn't really materialize the way I was intending for it to materialize, so I'm getting a little creative in a couple of spots. Like right here, this post wasn't really sitting nicely, and you'll see in the previous video I was kind of struggling with this, so I decided just to kind of screw it in over here. It also wasn't exactly the best cut of wood. It is what it is. This part doesn't have to be super perfect because I'm going to be covering this anyway with the sound blankets, so it's not a big deal. I just have to finish screwing in the plywood, and once I do that, I'll put the blankets. And now here it's time to hang these blankets. So in the back I've hung one, I kind of overlapped one edge of it. That has changed since I've recorded this clip. And then I come around and I'm starting to hang blankets along the side of the wall. I'm using these cup hooks that I showed you at the beginning of the video, screwing them in pretty much right into the drywall. These blankets, even though they're 5 pounds each, they don't put a whole lot of stress on them. So so each of the hooks, so it's totally fine to just screw them right into the drywall. I'm putting, in this case, overlapping them on the edge there to kind of get them as close to the steel beam as possible. And then I'm going to put them behind the ball return. And then after I'm done hanging this blanket here, I'm going to go to the next side on the other side of the steel beam. And this is going to get 2 blankets here, so I'm just trying to figure out where to hang them. I screw into place the hooks and then hang them on the grommets that I had installed earlier. And then you'll get a good angle shot of this particular section here as we see right over there. We move over there, and I've got the other spot here. I'm standing right in the lane. By the way, I built this lane really sturdy. It can easily handle probably about 5 to 6 people on it without any sag or any problems whatsoever. Here I'm just finishing up. I'm hanging one from the ceiling to kind of give me a little bit of a canopy to catch some more of the sound going into the neighbors, and it works out pretty well. Okay, our blankets are all hung up. We have 2 blankets here towards the front part of the lane, kind of overlapping a little bit, a little extra protection. A gap here for the steel beam, and a little bit of preschool artwork. And then we have the other 6 blankets all basically hanging either on the wall. We have one draped from the ceiling, and we also have in the back here, behind the pin deck, we have on the curved wall here. And then this particular segment here, we also could fold all the way out if we really wanted to, but I do have it overlapping just a little bit just to kind of really give some isolation into this section. I also see my stud finders up there, but it's really awesome. It's already a marketed effect on the sound level. I can't test for you right now just because it's early, but when I'm recording this particular segment, but there's a marked improvement, and you probably can also hear it in my voice. There's less echo, there's less intensity, there's less reverb, and it really makes a difference when we're bowling down here on this lane. Now the next step is to go ahead and get these acoustic panels hung up. That's just going to add a little extra look to it, but also it's going to be another nice effect. We're going to hang some of those on the ceiling. You also notice I got a nice light over here. I hung another LED light above the lane. It makes it really bright. So I'm going to hang one panel up here, probably hang another panel up here, and then I'm going to put some behind the deck here. I'll show you where I want to put a couple of them. I want to put a couple, and you can hear a big difference when I'm in here right now. I'm enclosed basically in sound blankets. I'm going to put one right here, and I'm going to also put one up here, and if I have room, I'm going to put one up there as well. It depends on the size and if it fits nicely. But you can see we're definitely well insulated here. A lot of sound dampening makes a big difference.
Go.
Alright, well, that's going to do it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed the changes to the sound that we have going on here. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do some more recording, maybe get some games going, and eventually we have to hit this pin setter over here because these pins are they're fun to set up and they're fun to play with, but they're definitely going to need something that's going to make it a little easier to put in the right spot. So look forward to that video. In the meantime, it sounds a lot better down here, and it looks really cool down here. My wife has compared it to basically like a movie theater or a sound booth. It's pretty cool, and like I said, so far the neighbors have not complained. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and please enjoy, and if you have questions, please comment below. Have a great day.